Hey guys, so we have another very intense and active week of astrology playing out. We have our new moon in Cancer that is going to be coming up tomorrow, actually. This new moon is in a conjunction to the black moon and also a square to Jupiter. This is likely to be quite an intense new moon cycle that we are heading into. We also this week, you guys, have Mars coming into an exact square with Pluto in Capricorn. This is going to be building all week and it comes exact this week. And this is also like a very heated, intense, transformative, active square that is playing out. And Pluto, you guys, right now is also at the degree where it was when the United States was formed. The Pluto return degree for the United States is being activated by Pluto now in retrograde process, having moved backward to that degree. And we are in some very strong revolutionary energy, you guys. We could see some very big changes going on, in our own personal lives in terms of some personal revolutions and also, on the grander collective level. This is just the energy that we are in right now. Some very, very active changes happening. And today, Monday, to start our week, we are in some very strong Gemini Mercury influence energy. We have a Gemini moon, going to be talking all about it in my report for today, but information, communication, news, headlines, things going back and forth, conversations that we're having, what we're learning, what we're thinking, what we're talking about, these are definitely at the forefront of the day today. Some very busy energy we could have playing out on Monday to start this quite intense and transformative and very active week of energy. So let us get into the chart, everybody, and see how all of this loveliness is playing out for us today to begin our week. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Monday, June 27th, 2022. My name is Aubrey, and this is your astrological outlook for the day. If you guys stick with me till the end of the report, I am also going to be talking about some tarot cards that came out in correspondence to the energy today, just so we can get a more well-rounded overview of the energy and how it is playing out to start this week. Again, I feel like it's going to be, I've been saying, for the past couple of weeks, I feel like we are in a period of time right now where it's just sort of on, the action is happening, things are happening, we are going sort of full stream ahead or full steam ahead. I'm never really sure exactly of how that little saying goes, but we are headed outward, onward in a new direction. Things are happening at this point in time. And this week, this whole month of July, actually, you guys, is probably going to be pretty profound, pretty transformative, pretty shocking, perhaps in a lot of ways. And we will get into it as we head more into July. I'm actually getting ready to do a July overview for you guys. But for today, this should be sort of a pretty short and to the point report that we have going on. But tomorrow, moving through the rest of the week, we've definitely got some heavier energy to get into. But for today, you guys, it's pretty light, it's pretty airy, and we are just navigating these realms of information and realms of communication. Very strong air energy, air element, Mercury, Gemini vibes going on today to close out our Gemini cycle. This is our very last day of our Gemini new moon cycle. Tomorrow, the moon will move into Cancer, come into a conjunction with the sun, and you guys will see me here talking about our new moon in Cancer that is happening. So we are closing out the cycle of Gemini right now, and we are doing so with some very, very strong Mercury, Gemini influence energy. First of all, of course, the moon is in Gemini today, and Mercury is also in Gemini, and Mercury is the ruler of Gemini. We also have Venus in Gemini right now as well. And so today, to start our day, we actually have the moon forming a conjunction to Mercury in his sign of Gemini, and this is basically the heights of Gemini Mercury influence energy. It doesn't really get more Gemini than when we have Mercury in Gemini and the moon in a conjunction to Mercury in Gemini. So again, it's all about the news, the information, the headlines, the social media, the communications, the conversations, things going back and forth, being very busy, out and about, lots to do, lots to see, lots to talk about, lots to think about, changing. Also, Gemini is a mutable sign. It's all about shifting and changing and opening to new things, options, alternatives, potentials, possibilities, just the vast array of, the whole sampler platter of life sort of that we may be wanting to try out and choose choose between at this point in time, with Venus there as well, but changing preferences, changing ideas, changing mindsets, changing attitudes, changing desires, perhaps based on things that we're learning now, based on this new information that's coming to us, based on a new perspective that we are achieving at this point in time on reality generally. And again, this could be very much being driven by sort of news, headlines, and just what we're sort of privy to in terms of the information communications that are coming to us. There is also an aspect of this energy today that may actually be helping us to see through the illusions and things that may have been preventing us from actually being able to move forward, to make these choices, to make these decisions, or had been holding us back or keeping us a bit stagnant in one way or another. While we do have the moon in Gemini coming into the conjunction with Mercury today, the moon will then form a square to Neptune in the sign of Pisces. Neptune and Pisces with the moon in square, this can present generally some confusion in terms of just like our feelings. However, because the moon and Mercury and Gemini are like so strong in this Gemini influence together, and Gemini rules the mind, this is actually a fusion of the mind and the feelings, the thoughts and the feelings sort of on the same page. And we also have Venus right now in the sign of Gemini too, which is what we want, what we like, what we desire. And so when we have the mind, the like what we're desiring, what we're wanting, and also the emotions, the feelings sort of fused together in this same energy, even though it is forming the square to Neptune, I feel like this is actually sort of like us being able to navigate whatever illusion or confusion or delusion or distortion or, fantasy or image or projection. I feel like we are having the ability to sort of see through or to overcome or to break down or to break through in this square energy any of these illusions because of this fusion between the feelings, the thoughts, the intuition, and also the logical mind. And Mercury right now is very much direct, very much moving forward, and with Venus there as well, everything is sort of in alignment at this point in time. And so bringing in that aspect of like Neptunian confusion or delusion or disorientation, I feel like is not having the same impact that it might have had in the past. And this is also perhaps in terms of like things coming through the news and media, like any type of propaganda or headlines that normally, I guess I should say it like this, like normally may have had a stronger impact on like our thoughts and ideas and perceptions and like how we are perceiving reality and stuff like that. I feel like it's not having the same impact. I feel like we are much more grounded and centered actually in our own perception of truth and in our own ideas and in our own like intuition and stuff. And any way that this is playing out, whether it is coming from like on the more collective macro level or just in our own personal lives and our interpersonal dynamics of things, I just feel like there is a like less strong ability, I guess I could say, for false pretenses to be like perceived as truth in this energy, the way that I'm seeing this aspect playing out. Normally the square to Neptune from the moon can really confuse us, confuse our feelings, like make us feel a little delusional about stuff. But in this energy, the way that it is playing out today, because of this very strong Mercury Gemini influence, I feel like we just know the truth and we're not really being fooled anymore. I feel like we're seeing the truth about things and we are ready to make adjustments and improvements. Another thing that is going on with this moon in Gemini today is that is also going to be forming an aspect to both Mars and Saturn. And these are actually positive aspects. Mercury will sextile Mars in Aries and also form a trine to Saturn retrograde in Aquarius. So Mercury forming the sextile to Mars, this is like wherever our mind is at right now, like whatever we're learning, whatever we're talking about, like there's a bit of like fire and passion and inspiration and motivation and courage and strength and willpower in this that is sort of pushing us forward in a new direction, like calling us to sort of like go on an adventure, become a pioneer, like in our own experience and like sort of like venture out in a new direction and, embrace the changes that are going on within us at this point in time, with the moon simultaneously forming the trine to Saturn retrograde in Aquarius. Saturn retrograde in Aquarius, to me, has a lot to do with sort of like restructuring our inner landscape, like restructuring our inner world in alignment with our authentic truth in the sign of Aquarius and what can carry us forward into the future in a way that allows us to really like embody that and build a world for ourselves in alignment with that can be enduring and long lasting and really provide like a stable structure for us moving forward along these lines in this new alignment, in this new direction. And, we are moving into the age of Aquarius right now, which is very much about, requiring an energetic shift and requiring these massive changes that are taking place right now. And I feel like with Saturn retrograde and today this Gemini moon that is forming the trine to Saturn and simultaneously the sextile to Mars and also the conjunction to Mercury and also that square to Neptune. Like I said, it's like whatever we're learning, this new perspective that we're stepping into now, this new mindset that we're growing into, the way that we are restructuring our inner landscape is in alignment with, Venus, what we want, the moon, how we feel, Mercury, what we're thinking. It's like all of this synthesis of energy that is going on in the sign of Gemini, forming the trine to Saturn retrograde in Aquarius, is helping us to restructure this inner landscape in a way that is just so much more authentic and so much more in alignment with us that can really carry us down into the future and also help us break free and clear some karmic burdens as well. And then with Mars in the sextile, being inspired and courageous, like brave, motivated to do this. And with the square to Neptune, it's like, also, this process is helping us to bust through these illusions, to break through these illusions, to gain a sense of clarity through illusion, to see the truth through the illusion. This is like the cracks in the facade and like us seeing the fallacies and things, you know what I mean? Coming up in the midst of this energy. So in combination, like I do feel like this is sort of priming us for the energy that we are going to be moving into throughout the rest of the week. And it's like whatever we're coming to now, like wherever our mind is at now, wherever our head is at, like however we're seeing and understanding things now, I feel like is the solid truth. And, yes, we do want these choices and options and decisions. Like we are not ready to commit to a new path or to a new direction right now, but we are definitely ready to separate from the old ways. And like I said, changing preferences, like changing our mind, changing our ideas, changing our desires, changing what we like, changing what we want going forward. All of this is very, very highlighted. And if that's the way that you're feeling right now, you are right in alignment with sort of like the unfolding cosmic blueprint and the shifts that are underway right now that are really like over the course, like I said, of this next month of July, I feel like really gonna sort of cause some really profound changes that may be a little bit shocking to us, but are aligning us with the correct and proper path for our growth. Again, like in a way that supports us coming into our highest potential and really activating our destiny and going through these internal energetic shifts that are transitioning us into the age of Aquarius. So we got that going on. Places where we've been deceived or confused, now creating breakthroughs, sort of how I'm reading this Neptune square energy. Restructuring our lives, Saturn retrograde based on changing preferences, desires, and ideas. Lots and lots and lots of emphasis on this today, specifically to close out our Gemini cycle in the field, the way that this is playing out. And also lots of emphasis, again, on these air elements. We have several Sabian symbols today that are specifically referencing, like to me, aspects of the air element. First of all, we have Jupiter today at 8 degrees of Aries. That Sabian symbol is a large woman's hat with streamers blown by an east wind. So we're talking about streamers blown by a wind, by an east wind. These are like, to me, I'm seeing this as like streams of consciousness that are sort of coming in and, changing our mind maybe in one direction or another. We have Saturn retrograde right now, 25 Aquarius, a butterfly with the right wing more perfectly formed. Of course, a butterfly, this is definitely associated with the air element. We have Uranus right now, 18 degrees of Taurus, a woman airing an old bag through a sunny window, giving it fresh air and sunlight, talking about airing things out, refreshing things, purifying, cleansing, bringing them back to life, but very much through this like process of like the breath or the air element doing that work. And again, this is the mind, this is the thoughts, this is the ideas. When we have all of this Gemini Mercury emphasis going on, also ruling the thoughts, the mind, the ideas. And then Pluto retrograde. You guys, Pluto is at a very important degree in the sky right now. Pluto, and I talked about this, I've talked about this a few times over the past couple months, but, Pluto has been retrograde and stationary for quite a long period of time. So we haven't been talking about it as much, but before Pluto stationed to go retrograde and went retrograde, Pluto hit the degree 28 degrees of Capricorn, which is the degree of the natal Pluto in the United States birth chart. And this to me really, really is reactivating some of these 1776 vibes, activating sort of like a new American revolution. And I feel like that extrapolates out to like personal revolutions going on within us, and also obviously collectively as we are going through this transitional process. And we also have Pluto at the very last degrees of Capricorn, sort of breaking down the structures and the control and power hierarchies of the past as we are heading into this new paradigm, creating this new age of Aquarius based on these energetic and vibrational shifts that are going on within us. Well, Pluto, I've been talking about the past week that Pluto is retrograde and Pluto finally moved backwards. But when Pluto moved backwards, Pluto moved back to 28 degrees of Capricorn, which is that same degree, reactivating for the second time now this degree of the American Revolution, the Pluto return of the United States. And I do feel like Pluto at this degree, especially like I said, with Mars also coming into a square with Pluto this week, I really feel like we are really like, this is very much triggering and activating these revolutionary vibes. And I feel like there are likely to be some big time like clashes or breakdowns or just issues in regards to these long-time power, control, authority, structure, hierarchies of the past that are just up for some major transformation at this point in time, I guess is a good way to put it, with Pluto at this degree. So that is something that we can also be sort of anticipating now and over the course of the rest of the summer, is some major shifts and changes in terms of the long-standing orders and structures and power and control dynamics in our personal lives, and also on the more collective macrocosm level. Major changes coming, you guys. Also, I feel like in terms of like government and stuff like that. So wanted to say that as well. And Pluto is currently, speaking of Sabian symbols having to do with air element, 28 Capricorn, a large aviary, which is of course talking about like multiple birds flying around and chirping, singing to each other. So again, like that's a lot of air that is being referenced in the Sabian symbols on our last day of our Gemini cycle, with a Gemini moon conjuncting Mercury in Gemini, Venus there as well. Let's see, we had 1, 2, 3, 4 degrees, emphasizing specifically this air element. So that's interesting. And now let's transition a little bit, I guess, into talking just about the new moon slightly that we have coming at us tomorrow. I'm going to talk obviously in much more detail about this tomorrow, but we are preparing for this new moon that is setting up tomorrow. Very powerful. And this is the energy that is preparing us. It's like, we got to get our mind right, you guys, before we head into this energy tomorrow. Like, we need to be breaking through these illusions. Like, we need to be not falling for the projections. We need to be seeing the cracks in the facades, because I feel like, and like this information that we're gaining, like what we're talking about, like all of this connection energy, I feel like is going to help us somehow in terms of what we have coming up over the course of the next month. Now, this new moon cycle, very intense, very powerful. It is in a conjunction to the black moon, and it's also in a square to Jupiter. So I feel like we are going to be facing a lot of fears over the course of this new moon cycle. But, with the square to Jupiter, when we have the sun and the moon coming into a square to Jupiter, this is like expanding wherever we're at. So it's like, if we are able to be in a more positive mindset, positive emotional place over the course of the energy that is coming at us tomorrow for this new moon, then we are likely to see some success and some very positive things play out in terms of our growth over the course of this next cycle. But the same thing goes on the other side. I mean, Jupiter expands energy, and we are dealing with the sun, the light, and the black moon, the shadows. And so whatever we're feeling, whatever end of the spectrum that we are on is likely to be a bit expanded over the course of the next cycle. And so it's very important as we head into this new moon energy tomorrow that we do our best to sort of detach ourselves from the shadows that may be arising within us emotionally. We don't want to feel emotionally fused sort of to our own darkness in this energy. We want to use this energy to give us a very like profound awareness of any darkness that may be operating within us so that we can clear, heal, transcend, overcome. I feel like overcoming setbacks, overcoming challenges, overcoming like our own emotional issues is sort of the vibe that we are going to be dealing with moving through this Cancer cycle. And you know, there's sort of these two octaves, again, like some very high highs possibly, just like we had going on in this Gemini cycle, but also maybe, you know, some lower lows. And I feel like the first half of the month and the second half of the month are going to be a little bit different from each other. So, and again, we will be talking much more about this as we get into this new moon energy tomorrow and as I get my July report out over the next couple of days. But as I said, you know, this Pluto retrograde right now at the degree of the Pluto return of the United States, a very revolutionary energy that is just sort of like in the air and that we are dealing with. Now, over this course, just to sort of give you guys like a little bit of preview of what is coming up, we're going to have a Uranus North Node conjunction. We are going to have, as I said, this week, Mars forming a square to Pluto retrograde at that USA natal return, Pluto return degree. We are also, of course, having this new moon and Cancer cycle that is in a conjunction to the black moon and a square to Jupiter. And we also have Saturn retrograde right now. So these are sort of like, the way I'm seeing it, sort of like four of the major things and themes that we're dealing with over the course of this next month. And I feel like this sort of all boils down into, like I said, facing and overcoming fears and limitations that is sort of leading us to this unexpected, perhaps, growth in a like solid new direction. Actually, things are going to be shifting dramatically. Uranus and the North Node coming together. This is very surprising, unexpected realignments that are fated or destined in one way or another, and that are really aligning us with a path, with the path that is most conducive to our growth going forward. And it may not be that comfortable. Things are being put right in the trajectory that they need to be in order for us to make this collective shift into the age of Aquarius. So with Uranus operating, I can tell you though, a lot of times this is silver lining energy. We don't necessarily see on the surface of things how this is positive, how this is beneficial, how this is helping us. But as we move through this energy and things unfold, we will realize why this was the necessary thing that had to happen, why this was the right thing, and how, you know, thank goodness that this did happen, because it actually really put things right and allowed for all of these other positive things to come into place as well. So we have that, you know, Mars forming the square to Pluto. This is a very active, heated transformation. Mars and Pluto, both also rulers of the South Node in Scorpio. Whatever this is bringing is helping us to clear a lot of karma that is helping us to move in this new direction. North Node, Uranus, like some very challenging also or difficult like rebirth scenarios. There could be some aspects of loss that we are also navigating throughout the course of this cycle. And, you know, we will talk more about that. And then, like I said, the new moon in the conjunction to the black moon, while we also have Saturn retrograde. So we are just going through some very deep and profound transformations, regenerations, recreations of ourselves, very revolutionary energy that is likely to be changing things for us quite significantly over this next period of time. Throughout the rest of the summer, heading into the fall, we are a very active, action-oriented phase of the year right now as well. So things might get a little bit wild, but ultimately it is for the best and it is going to benefit us in some way. Let's talk about a couple more Sabians that we have in effect today as well, the ones that I didn't mention. There's also like an aspect of the energy that is coming through today that has a lot to do again with this like Mercury, air, Gemini, like feature that we have so prominent right now, figuring things out and tapping into deep reservoirs or resources of wells of power and speaking our truth. Speaking truth to power is also something that I feel like is being emphasized in the energy as we have it playing out today. The earth today is actually at 7 degrees of Capricorn. That Sabian symbol is a veiled prophet speaks, seized by the power of a god. So here again, we're talking about this speech, this communication, and this veiled prophet speaks, and speaking truth to power in one way or another. And then the degree of Venus also today in the sign of Gemini. This degree is workmen drilling for oil, which is also talking about, you know, getting down to this to the depths of things, like mining our own resources, mining our own reserves or reservoirs, and really like getting a handle on the resources within us that can provide some type of power or fuel or abundance or value for us externally as well. This is sort of, again, with Venus, like mining our own soul for the, you know, creative potential that exists there, and what can we do with that. And then actually the degree of Mercury himself, which I should have said earlier when I was talking about the Sabian symbols, talking about like thoughts and ideas and stuff like that. I don't know, I just like glanced over it somehow, but this is such a Mercury degree. Like we're talking about all of this Mercury Gemini influence energy that we have going on today, and the position of Mercury himself for the last day of this Gemini cycle is just as profound. That Sabian symbol is the head of a robust youth changes into that of a mature thinker at 17 degrees of Gemini. And so that is what we're doing, you guys. Like that is this process. Like we are maturing in terms of the way that we are viewing reality with the Saturn retrograde, the moon in Gemini forming the trine to Saturn retrograde. We are redoing our inner landscape. We are like refining our thought patterns, and we are maturing, and we are seeing things from a more practical and logical standpoint. We are busting through these illusions and dissolving these projections and these false narratives. And it is giving us this power, it's helping us to align with these reserves of our own power within us. And it's empowering us to speak our truth as well. The veiled prophet speaks, seized by the power of a god. So there's another very, very Gemini, Mercury, air influence Sabian that is also presenting today. The head of a robust youth changes into that a mature thinker. And I really feel like that is sort of summarizing and encapsulating this entire Gemini cycle. I feel like there's been a lot of changes that have gone on over the course of this cycle that have really like helped to mature the way that we are thinking, perceiving, viewing reality, and also just like maybe taking things a bit more seriously as well. We had some Mercury-Saturn squares going on for quite a while during Mercury's retrograde process. And Mercury and Saturn in square, this is also about a mental maturation that is really like, well, that's sort of what the square is pushing towards, like an evolution into a more mature way of dealing with the realms of the thought and realms of the mind. And we've got that going on. So Mercury at that degree as well. And also the degree of Mars today, you guys, at 25 degrees of Aries. A double promise reveals its inner and outer meanings. So this, again, is talking about figuring things out. Like any way you slice it today, we're talking about figuring things out, tapping into deep reservoirs or wells of resources of power, speaking truth to that power, and thoughts, ideas, streams of consciousness, and a more mature mindset on things. So all that going on today, you guys, as we head into this new moon in Cancer that is coming up tomorrow. So that is basically what I have to say about the energy as it is presenting today for our last day of this Gemini cycle. Very much Gemini energy, very busy, lots going on, lots to say, lots to do, lots to think about, lots to talk about, lots to analyze, lots to process, like all of that type of stuff, and changing our mind about stuff, changing our preferences, changing our desires, changing our feelings as well. All of this Gemini energy today, this mutable energy, this changeable energy going on. So all of that, you guys. Now let's get into the tarot for a minute. This also, the message that came out in terms of the tarot today is also talking about like things be like a rectification of things, like actually like justice being served, like a rebalancing underway. And so, this I feel like is also playing into sort of like this breakdown of this matrix and these power and control hierarchies of the past in terms of the energy that we are moving into right now, and this more revolutionary energy that is also being activated in the field right now. So the first card that we had coming out today is the Ace of Pentacles. This is talking about new opportunities that have a vast potential for success in these material realms, for growth, development, abundance, and success. And the next card that we had coming out was the Ten of Cups, which is like the ultimate in all of these things. This is telling me that the opportunities that are coming to us now, that we are aligning ourselves with now, are actually very, very fertile and can really lead to some true emotional fulfillment. And that is what this 222 year has been trying to do for us all along. Help us go through an internalized, energetic, vibrational shift, changing our preferences, changing our subconscious programming in a way that allows us to attract new opportunities, potentials, possibilities to ourselves that can help us to truly create and manifest what will bring us our soul's true form of fulfillment in this experience moving forward, and help us to, tap our potential and activate our destiny. So this is being spoken about for the first two cards that came out today. And then under that, we had the Six of Pentacles in reverse. Now, the Six of Pentacles, this is a card about give and take and reciprocity, okay? But when it's upside down, this is an unfair balance. This is someone taking advantage of someone else for some reason. And then the card that we had come out after that was Justice. On the back of the deck, we had the Three of Pentacles in reverse, followed by the Queen of Swords in reverse, and actually the King of Cups in reverse. I didn't mean to go that far back on the end of the deck, but these cards underneath the Three of Pentacles are speaking to me too. And so the Three of Pentacles in reverse, this to me is talking about like things that have been working against us. Like when we have the Three of Pentacles upright, this is like people coming together to work towards a goal, to make something happen. But when it's in reverse, this is like people, places, situations, circumstances, things generally that are working against us. And so, the Queen of Swords in reverse, this is lack of truth, and the King of Cups in reverse, this is lack of honesty. And so ultimately, when we put all of these cards together heading into this week, I feel like this is talking about the energy that is playing out right now in the field is priming for justice coming in one type of way in terms of anything that has been out of balance, lacking integrity, taking advantage of something one way or another based out of a lack of honesty, emotional honesty, and also a lack of truth and integrity and sincerity. So anything, I feel like this is saying this week and moving into this Cancer new moon cycle, anything that has been working against our greater good, essentially, anywhere that we have been taken advantage of, that we have been being manipulated, that something has been stealing our power, that something has been just not fair or unbalanced, whether or not we've even been aware of it. There is something about the energy coming in this week that is rebalancing the scales, that is rectifying things, that is putting things right in some type of a way, and that is allowing us to take advantage of these new opportunities, to really seize the opportunities that are at the tips of our fingers and really start moving towards being able to manifest, take advantage, and make something really happen of them. This message is really pretty clear, and I like to see this. So we're talking about the Six of Coins in reverse and justice. This, again, I feel like could be extrapolating out to that bigger picture, that macrocosm, this revolutionary idea, like where there has been an abuse of power, where there has been a lack of integrity, where there has been a group in power that has been taking advantage of those under them. Like this is what is being rectified. This is where justice is coming. Like justice is coming in this. And also, I feel like, again, the Three of Coins, the Three of Pentacles in reverse, whatever has been working against our progress in terms of not being honest and not being honest and not being like truthful and sincere. It's like over. And it might be, you know, like I said, like things might get a little bit crazy over this next couple of weeks. We actually had the Hermit underneath that. We may really need to sort of introspect and sort of withdrawal and, you know, come really into our own space and our own energy. But the first two cards we had coming out were really beautiful, and this is the direction that we are heading. We are seizing these opportunities because we know the potential for fulfillment that they are leading to, and that in and of itself is potentially what might be bringing this justice. Maybe we are just no longer standing for anything that has been taking advantage of us or our kindness or, you know, our honesty or our like truthfulness and integrity and sincerity as well. Anything working against us, anything that has been taking advantage of us, anything that has been untruthful or lacking integrity, we got the Justice card coming through, you guys. So I really feel like the sword of justice is about to be swung, and it is going to be freeing us to move forward in this new direction towards these new opportunities in this 222 year that are trying to align us with that soul's true fulfillment. So that's what we got, you guys. That's what we have for the tarot today. Now let's draw one more card. We are going to draw a synchronicity card. These are little messages from God that are just sort of like the cherry on top of the reading. Give us any additional, just like advice that can help us navigate this energy. These cards are by Janice Shellman. I really love them, and I feel like they have a very strong tendency to be very accurate and on point. So let's see if we can get one that wants to come out for us today. And let's see. Usually we've got one coming out by now. There's one. I generally prefer to shuffle until one sort of like shoots out of the deck as opposed to just like draw one, because I just feel like it's more in alignment and synchronistic that way. So let me grab this card. Okay, you guys, and we have gotten this card regularly lately, but again, it ties right into everything that is going on right now. It says it's your attitude. Straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. Matthew 7:14. The only way you can alter outer conditions is to change your mental attitude. For harmony, peace, prosperity, and health to enter your life, you must fill your subconscious with the understanding that all harmony, peace, abundance, and security is yours right now. The head of a robust youth changes into that of a mature thinker. The position of Mercury himself today for the last day of our Mercury cycle, and lots of changes going on inside, and it's because we are going through a process right now that is helping us to change and adjust our attitude in a way that can bring us these things, this Ace of Pentacles, this Ten of Cups, these new opportunities that are very fertile opportunities for growth and development into something that can bring us some real, true, genuine abundance. So that's what we keep in mind, you guys, today. We need to fill our subconscious with the understanding that all harmony, peace, abundance, and security is ours right now. And energy, the astrology is very supportive of this process today as well. So that's what I have to say today, you guys. I hope you liked it. I hope I was able to provide something for you that can give you just a little bit of whatever you're needing as we are navigating our last day of Gemini cycle energy. If you guys did like this video, please give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends if you think that they would be interested in this too. Leave me comments, you guys. I love your comments. I love hearing what you have to say. I really, truly appreciate your feedback. I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, a website, some other social media stuff. Those are in my description box below, and come back with me tomorrow, you guys. We are going to have our new moon in Cancer to talk about again. This is a big one. Conjunction to the black moon, square to Jupiter. It's going to be a lot to say, so I will be here for that. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it, and I will see you then, guys. Have a beautiful day, everybody, until tomorrow. Bye.